Hello? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Can people hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Oh, that's good. Hi, this is James from Fearless in Cabo. How you guys doing today? I hope you have an amazing day. We're here to do our first live stream. I'm super excited about it. This is a show all about building and living in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I've lived here for 3 years. Actually, today is my 3-year anniversary since moving to Cabo. Back in August 1st, 2022, I ventured out here to start a whole new life, and I love it. Every day I've been here has been an amazing adventure, and it's just truly awesome. Let me know if you have any questions. I also got some questions from people during the week via email, and I'm happy to answer that. If you guys have any questions, we have Daniela in the house, and let's see, we have a Hyde in the house, and anyone else out there, that'd be awesome. Let's ask me a question, fire away if anyone's got a question. Or I can just go over a couple of questions that I got earlier this week. Someone asked, what would you recommend, building here or buying an existing home in Cabo? That's a heavy question right off the bat. It all depends on you, and what would you recommend, buying or building an existing home? Buying an existing home is going to be far less challenging. You know, just dealing with the purchase process is it's similar to the States. It's a little bit longer process. It usually takes about 45 days to close on a property if there's absolutely no issues whatsoever. Most people, probably 90% of the people, are going to just want to buy an existing home. They might do little updates, but purchasing a home is far less challenging, and majority are going to want that. Buying a home, building a home, or remodeling a home can be extremely challenging in Cabo San Lucas and in Mexico in general. But it can be done. You know, I did it, and I do this for a living. So I built and remodeled over 700 homes, and you know, it challenged me. So yeah, you know, if you're new to remodeling, or you've done a couple of remodels under your belt, you might enjoy it. It might be a nightmare, but remodeling and building a home can be very stressful. It's almost like planning a wedding or planning a funeral. It could be one of the most stressful times in your life, or getting a divorce can be just as stressful. So it's not for everyone. Oh, thanks, Nicholas. Congratulations on the 3-year anniversary. I really appreciate it. You live in Cabo, or whereabouts are you from? Or are you from the States? Where are you guys from? I want to know what city you guys are from. When you plan to move to Cabo, have you ever been here on vacation? What do you like about Cabo? Please let me know. I'd love to know your feedback. Let me go on to the next question. How did you find your contractor or construction crew? Oh, that was easy. Like I was very fortunate. I was working with a crew when I got here, and it wasn't really working out. They were coming to work on late, and luckily I had a neighbor refer me to his crew that he did for his remodel, and he said, you know, I know you're new to the neighborhood, my friend Bobby, and he's from California, from LA, and he knew I needed some help, and I met Carlos and the guys on my remodel, and it's been an amazing adventure with Carlos and his brother and the rest of his staff. We have a ball together every day. If you haven't seen our show, it's quite comical, and we love to teach everyone, and it's just fun to be around the guys and just talking about construction. It makes so much easier. And it's just really, I'm very blessed to have a crew that I can count on and depend on, whether I'm at the job site 8-10 hours a day or only there for 30 minutes. You know, I depend on them to get the job done, regardless I'm overseeing it or not. You know, they have a lot of experience and they know exactly what they're doing. And then coupled with my experience, we work great together as a team. So, hi, Salvador. How are you doing today? How's it going? Oh, Mexico City. Awesome. We got Nicolasa from Cabo, and we got Salvador from Mexico City. Daniela, where you're? Oh, obviously she's my Daniela. She's from Cabo. She's she's my girlfriend, and thank you for all you guys for being supportive, and I appreciate you showing up to the show. If you have any questions, please feel free to chime in. I'd be happy to answer any questions about construction or living in Cabo. Salvador asked, do you need to know a lot of Spanish to get by in Cabo? A majority of the people that do live here do speak English. I would say, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but it's a majority of it. I get by every day. My Spanish, I wish was better. It's muy malo. I use my Google Translator whenever I need to. I also have Daniela when she's with me, and you know, 80% of the language we speak is body language. So I get by a lot in construction with just by basically body language. I'm very fortunate. One of my foremans, Carlos, does speak English, pretty good English, but 80% of our 80% of our communication is body language. So it's pretty easy to communicate with any type of body language. But prior to coming to Mexico, I've been in construction for 15 years. For 12 years, I had a crew back in Sinaloa. There was probably, I think, like 52 guys. I had 52 guys there. Every one of them was from Sinaloa, and there was only one or two guys that spoke kind of broken English. And so we had to pretty much we had to learn through each other, and it was mainly through body language. And just after you work with someone after a while, it's just easier to know what they want, what they don't want, you know, how to interact with them. It's been a pretty easy process. But to answer your question, when I get by, you know, it can be challenging some days, especially if you're talking about something very complicated. Like I'm dealing with building cabinets right now, and that can be a very complicated process because there's so many options, so many features, and that's something, you know, if you don't speak Spanish or they don't speak English, it can be very challenging for both parties. So I try the best of my ability to communicate with everyone on Google Translator if I don't know what to say, and to speak their language. I'm in their country, I'm a guest, so I want to help them just as much as they want to help me. So, what made Nicholas asked, what made you choose Cabo over other places in Mexico? I absolutely love Cabo. I think I've been here 8 times on vacation before I decided to move here. And Cabo was actually not my first choice. I was looking all around YouTube, and I also traveled to several places. I looked it was my #1 choice in Mexico, but I looked into Panama first. I also looked into Colombia. I just wanted to move to a different culture. I didn't move here for political reasons. Of course, now this is probably a perfect time to move to Mexico is for political reasons. I didn't move here for financial reasons. You know, Cabo is a very expensive city to live in. It's about the same price, if not more, than Phoenix, Arizona. I moved here just to experience a different culture, a different lifestyle, a more peaceful lifestyle. I love Cabo because it is the least humid city out of any beach city in all of Mexico. And it's just, I always felt at home here. I always felt at peace here. There's a different energy amongst the people, and they're truly amazing people. Every one of them that I've interacted with on a daily basis, they're so kind, they're so considerate, they're humble, they're very always willing to help you out in anything that you need. I mean, just basic strangers. You know, it's just truly amazing city. It's such a special place. It's truly dynamic. What would you recommend, building or buying an existing home? I answered that already, but I'll go over it again, Daniela. But I say it's going to depend on the person, but building a home is going to be far more challenging than buying a home. I'd say probably 90% of the people are just going to want to buy a home and not want to deal with it. But if anyone out there, you know, need a good realtor, I'm a great realtor. Danielle is an amazing realtor. Either one of us can help you guys out. You know, she's lived in Mexico. She's lived in Cabo for 30 years. She's came from Mexico City. Her and her family came out here in the, I think it was like, you know, the 94. I want to say it was 94. Her and her parents came out here, and you know, I love her family. They're amazing, and they moved out here. There was only 5,000 people, so that took a lot of guts to move out here to Cabo San Lucas when there was nothing out here other than beauty, pure beauty. There was no hotels. I mean, we got some of the most gorgeous beaches in not only in Mexico but possibly the world. They got some of the nicest hotels, and it is truly awesome. Hi, Melissa. How are you doing? You're from Florida. What city are you from, Florida? My grandparents used to live. I used to go to Miami, Florida, all the time. So it's awesome. And let me go to the next question that someone emailed me. Is construction here pretty reliable, or delays happen often? And delays in construction can happen periodically, regardless of what country you're in, whether you're in the States, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Mexico or South America or Australia. Delays are typical in construction. It really depends on two things: how reliable is your crew, and can you order all your material in advance? Because so if you're someone like me that's a planner and know what you're looking for, you need to order all your material that you're going to need up front or in advance, days or weeks before you're actually going to need it, because you don't want to be waiting for delivery. And having a crew on that you can really rely on is everything. Because if you have a crew you can really rely on and you got all the material that you need, you should have no problems with delays or whatsoever. Everything should be on point. Melissa, we're talking about building and living in Cabo San Lucas. So I don't know if you're interested in living in Cabo San Lucas, interested in living in Mexico, building in Mexico. Anything that you want to know about building or living in Cabo San Lucas or in Mexico in general, I'd be happy to help you out with. I've lived in Mexico since 2022 on August 1st. So today is actually my 3-year anniversary for Mexico. I made Cabo my home. I moved here from Phoenix, Arizona after living there a majority of my life. I was originally born in Buffalo, New York, and I lived in Phoenix ever since I was probably a child. Probably, I think it was like 8 years old is when I moved to Phoenix. But I've lived in five states in the United States, and I decided I wanted to choose to move to another country just to experience a different culture. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I'd be happy to, let's see, would you recommend? Let me go back to, I had some people email me questions earlier this week. Can you give me a rough idea of what does it cost per square feet to build a home in Cabo San Lucas? Not considering the land, but just construction costs in general. It can cost anywhere from $250 a square foot up to $600 a square foot if you want to go luxurious. $250 a square foot would be pretty standard, pretty basic material. And it's going to give you a nice little product. But luxurious, you're going to get probably up in the $600 a square foot range if you want to build like a custom home. But you can build exactly what you need. Getting material has been very challenging for me. I order a lot of the material from the States. I get a lot of material from Europe. I get a lot of material from China, because Cabo is, you know, they treat everything on an island out here. They say we live on an island, even though it's a peninsula, and it's really hard to get material here. I ordered tile just last week from Chihuahua, Mexico, and they told me 21 days. I was like, almost flipped my lid. I mean, 21 days to get tile. It's only 750 miles. I don't understand that. No one can explain why it takes 21 days to travel 750 miles. I mean, to me, that's like a 1 or 2 day delivery. And it just seems like it takes a little bit longer to get anything done here on the Baja. And it's just because it's just more of a relaxed lifestyle out here. There's not You know, the get up and go attitude that you're going to find in the States a lot. It's pretty calm and peaceful out here, and things not always are going to go as fast as you expect. So you just have to roll with the tide and just deal with what's thrown at you. What's one thing that really surprised you about living here? What's one thing that really surprised you about? A lot of things surprised me about living here, but how I've been, I think, doing good with the changes. Really, that doing really good with the changes and navigating through everyday challenges in life here. You know, 10 years ago, probably 10, 12 years ago, I probably couldn't move here. It would have been too much of an obstacle. I would have complained about the littlest stuff on a daily basis. But you have to have a really open mind to move to another country. And, you know, they don't have the all the top infrastructure that we're used to in the States or in Europe or in Canada. But Cabo is an amazing city, and you just seem to, you know, get by and not have to deal with that stuff. You can't sweat the small stuff. Yes, I'm a contractor, Melissa. I've built and remodeled over 700 homes in the States and in Mexico. I remodeled a 4,500 square foot house in Cabo. It's on our playlist if you want to check it out. It's called Villa Utopia. And we're also building a home in on the Pacific side in Rolling Hills right now. It's a custom home on the Pacific side of Cabo. And let me know if are you interested in building in Mexico or buying a home in Mexico or moving to Mexico? But if you've ever been to Cabo, you guys let me know. What's the one thing you love most about Cabo? Why are you interested in Cabo? I love it because the humidity is extremely low. It's such a peaceful lifestyle, and the people are truly amazing. That's probably not the number one reason why people pick Cabo, but it's the number one reason you soon figure out that the people are truly amazing. It is a different energy, and I'm a huge energy person. And you know, if my energy is off, I don't move forward or I don't do business with that person. And just the people here are just truly special. And I'm not just saying that; they really are special. So, and let's see, I got Ventanas. Hi, how's it going? You're from Guadalajara? Awesome. How's the weather throughout the year? What's the best? What's the heat? Is the heat manageable? Today is the wrong week to ask me that. It's been very humid this week, but I'm the worst person to ask about humidity. Cabo is the lowest humid beach city in all of Mexico. That's probably the reason, one of the top 5 reasons I moved here. It had to have low humidity because I'm from Phoenix originally, and their humidity is anywhere from like 10 to 20% a year. So I'm used to like no humidity. So anything above 55 is extreme to me. The weather is beautiful. We have 350 days of sun throughout the year. The average temperature is 65 to 85 degrees throughout the year. The humidity ranges anywhere from 40 to probably 65%, 70% on a very bad day. So the hottest that I can remember was like 92 degrees with probably 65, maybe 70% humidity. That is probably the most brutal day. And that's usually July, August, and September are usually August and September are more extreme, but July, August, and September, you know, there's a lot of people that live here in 6 months to 9 months a year, and they leave in July, August, and September. But I'm used to Phoenix. I'm used to 120-degree heat. I've adjusted, but it's still, for me, it's probably going to be the most challenging because I'm not used to humidity. But I love the sun. I love being out in the sun. I think the sun is amazing. It's the greatest source of energy we have in this lifetime, and it's the most positive source of energy we have in this lifetime. So, and does anyone else have any questions? If not, I'll go on to the next. Guadalajara, what's the temperature like in Guadalajara right now? I assume it's pretty hot, isn't it? Has it been easier to connect with other expats or locals? Locals, yes, easy to connect with locals. For me, it's far more easier to connect with locals than it is expats. But I don't really label anyone. I just see as another person as a human. I don't label person as an expat. But everyone gets triggered by that word. If you want to call me an immigrant, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I think everyone's the same. I think I treat everyone the same, whether you're the janitor or CEO of a company. But I think it's a truly amazing city, and as I said, the people here have a different energy, and it doesn't really matter who you're talking to. Everyone in Cabo is it's strange. I hate to. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. Everyone here I've met is just generally happy. It's awesome. I love it here. And would you recommend the lifestyle to others thinking of relocating? Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I love it. This is probably, to move to another country can be very challenging for anyone. Even moving from, Mexico City to here can be very challenging, but moving to another country can be very challenging. And I felt so welcome, so loved, and I didn't think it would be this easy of a transition. But it is. They allow citizens of other countries to purchase real estate. You don't need to be a permanent resident. That is probably something you should probably get if you're going to purchase a property here. I got my permanent residency back in August of 2022, and I probably did it the wrong way. That most people are not going to do it. I came out here, purchased a parcel, a half acre of land on the Pacific Ocean, and then I told I was really came to look to build my own custom dream home on the beach, and that's why I originally came to Cabo, because I can't do that in California. The property would have probably cost $20,000 or $40,000 to build a home on the beach. It's just unattainable. And I had no problem moving to another country. I thought it would be an awesome adventure. And it just made more sense to move to Cabo. And I first wanted to look at land. I couldn't afford anything in Cabo that was at the beach, because either it wasn't available or it was just over $1 million. So I purchased a lot in Rolling Hills on the Pacific side. And I actually like the Pacific side better, which is about 10, 15 minutes outside of Cabo. And because the cool breezes are 8 to 10 degrees cooler there than downtown Cabo. And in the section I live in, El Tazal, which is a pretty popular section. And because I love the constant breezes, you don't even feel the humidity because you're getting constant, nice little breezes all day, and it feels awesome. You don't even feel the heat, during July and stuff. And I have a few neighbors that I met over there. They're like, we only use our air conditioner 2 months a year, and I'm just like, how is that even possible? So, but yeah, I can't say enough positive things about Cabo. I think it's truly amazing. Let's see who's the next one. It's been raining on and off. It's been raining on and off all about in Guadalajara these days. Really cloudy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know if I'm sure the tsunami in Russia and Japan has really affected the weather all around the world. I don't know if you guys can remember during COVID, it changed the entire world in terms of weather for not only for a couple of years, but probably still to this day. I can remember, I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and when they shut down all the factories in China for a whole 3 months, it heated up a lot of the world for global warming. And it also cooled a lot of the world during certain times of the day. It made extreme temperature changes. And I can remember in Phoenix, the summers were getting longer, which is not the season you really want to get longer. You want spring and fall to get longer. But the summer got longer, the winter got longer, and the spring got shorter, and the fall got shorter. So my 2 best seasons, spring and fall, got shorter. And the 2 seasons I don't absolutely love got longer. So, but I absolutely loved Phoenix. I had no qualms about it. I have no problems with Phoenix. I love it. I think it's truly probably the best city in all of the United States. and I've lived in 5 different states. It's a gorgeous city. They just didn't have the beach, and I wanted to live at the beach. So, do you feel like you're stayed close to your budget so far? Oh, when you're building a home, yeah, probably I'm probably gonna factor in going over 10%, just because bringing a lot of my materials that I get, a lot of my finished materials for my plumbing, my electrical, and a lot of stuff that I use for remodeling or building home, I have to get from the States. I don't have to. What they have available here, I don't like. And I get it from the States, and I usually have to pay 30 or 40% more than what it costs in the States. So if it's $1,000 in material, I'm going to have to pay it $400 more. And that's the convenience of transporting, because transportation is expensive luckily I have a Ford shipper that's in Calexico, California. I ship it to her from either Amazon or whatever the vendor is. I ship it to her. She's nice enough, drives it across the border. She only charges me 10%. So if the product's $1,000, if I'm buying $1,000 of material, she's going to charge me an extra $100 for her time and trouble, which is well worth it. Then the Mexican government charges me 20%. So I have to pay 30% on $1,000 worth of material. So that's an extra $300. And it seems like a lot, but if you can't get something, you're going to pay for it. And Cabo, they treat it like it's on an island, even though it's on a peninsula. It's really hard to get material here and a lot of stuff. So, I was complaining about it at first for months, and there's nothing I can do about it, but I feel blessed because at least I have the availability. They just took away Amazon for 3 months because of all this tariff nightmare. And so I couldn't get any material from Amazon or from other vendors. They would not deliver. They didn't want to deal with Mexico because of all this tariff stuff, because of the unknown. And I don't blame them. And not having something, you really miss it. So you miss what you don't have in life. But no, I'm blessed that I get to partake in other stuff. I even ordered this giant jacuzzi from Asia because I couldn't find anything in Mexico. I couldn't even find anything in the States that I really liked. But I'm a bad example because I'm extremely picky, because I'm a custom builder and I want usually to put the best products in my home. How do utilities work in Cabo San Lucas? Are they really expensive? Water is somewhat expensive, yes, compared to depending on where you're from. If you're from California, it's going to be cheaper no matter what. Water is going to be cheaper. Electricity is going to be cheaper. I can just relate to Phoenix. Our water bill, Cabo has a couple issues with infrastructure. Water is an issue, and the roads are an issue, and sidewalks are an issue. But as far as water, my water bill, we get water from the city. We get it delivered to a main cistern. A cistern is like a big tank, and it's delivered to the subdivision only one time a year. So it's brought into that big tank, and then you have your own personal tank. Mine is 20,000 liters, which is 13,200 gallons. It's a big cement storage facility inside the ground, and the water gets spilled into my storage facility once a month. So 13,200 gallons, and if I go through that, I have to order a private truck. And the private truck is about 2,000 pesos, which is about $110. So if during the summer, I'll probably spend about $150 a month on water, $30, excuse me, $20, maybe $10 to $15 from the city, and then maybe $110 from a water truck, so about $140. But during the summer, I might have to order 2 water trucks because Daniela loves to take tub baths, and the evaporation from the pool. The pool evaporates a lot of water, so maybe 2 trucks. So the most I think is $250 on water. But I have been a lot more conservative than water. I mean, I was so used to Phoenix, water was dirt cheap. So, but electricity, my most expensive bill. We have a pretty big house. It's it's 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath. The electricity bill here in the summer at the hottest is 20,000 pesos. which is pretty high, and I believe it's like it's around $540 a month. During the winter, it's probably about $540 a month, but they build on a 60-day period, so it's going to be around 540 times two, so 1,080 for 2 months. And during the winter, maybe about 160 to $200 a month for electricity. So it's not over. It's not crazy. I mean, it's about the same in Phoenix, maybe about 10 to 15% cheaper. But if you're from Oregon, if you're from California or New York or other states that with higher utility expenses, it's going to be much cheaper than probably what you're used to. And do I feel safe in your area? Oh, really? I do. It doesn't matter where I am in Cabo. I've never felt safer in my life. I feel safer than the States. I feel extremely safe. Cabo is, I would say it's a top 5 safest city in all of Mexico. I love it here. Yeah, I don't even hear about crime here. I've never even heard it even happen. Not even just petty theft. You never hear about anyone getting physically hurt or harmed or anything like that in Cabo. But the city prides itself on its safety, and they have the police force. They have extra force here for security because of all the tourism. It's a tourist town, so the country spends more money on security for here than other cities because it's a tourist town. It's probably the #1 or #2 tourist town in all of Mexico, next to Cancun or probably Puerto Vallarta. A lot of people come here from the States. A lot of people come here from different areas of Mexico, but I feel totally safe, and it's a gorgeous city. And then I'm only 15, 20 minutes away from downtown San Jose, and I love that city. I feel safe there too. It's more locals that live there, and it's more a traditional city. But I go there all the time for going out to dinner. They have some of the most amazing restaurants in all of Cabo. Cabo is really known for its food and for its culture, and just the lifestyle here is just truly amazing. So let me go. If there you have no other questions, let's see. You guys have any other questions? Please ask me anything. There are no dumb questions. Is it hard to find certain materials for home furnishing during construction? Yeah, it can be very challenging to find materials. As I said a little bit earlier, I get a lot of the stuff from the States. I get it from Amazon. I get it from other vendors. I do have a good list of vendors here in Cabo, and it's just going to take time because I've got a welder, I've got a carpenter that does all my woodwork. I've got a welder that does all my, since we live at the beach, you're not going to build a lot of stuff outdoors that's in wood because it's just rots, from the salt air. So a lot of stuff is made out of metal if it's outdoors, and it's just, you got to find trades out here you can trust. Like when I first moved here 3 years ago, I had all my furniture built. I went to 5 different carpenters in town that were rated the highest on Google. I went to go interview all 5 of them, and the one that I found that I loved the most by his work and his energy and the way he answered my question, and I gave him I gave him some ideas of some furniture I wanted made. And so I asked him, I said, I gave him an easy task first. I said, do you think you can make this nightstand? And so I gave him a picture of the design. I said, this is exactly what I want. Can you build it? He said, no problem. So he built it for me. Oh my God, it turned out beautiful. I said, can you build me this dresser? I want it this size, these specifications. Because I'm a finished carpenter myself. So I'm going to be more picky than the average bear. And so I don't have, I sold all my tools before I moved to Mexico because I didn't really want to do it anymore. It can be very time consuming. So I showed them all the pictures. I'm telling you, this is probably some of the best furniture I've ever bought in my life. And a lot of the stuff that you'll find, I guess, in the States or, is stuff made from China and it's just garbage. And, some of the stuff they make here is just, it's made out of peroda wood and it's just very durable. It's just gorgeous furniture. I've gotten, everyone that's came over to the house are like, God, this stuff is gorgeous. Where did you get this? And I said, my carpenter made it for me based off of my design. So, is it easy to get access to healthcare and other services? I personally don't have any healthcare myself. I don't have an insurance policy, but the insurance policies are very inexpensive here. I just don't worry about it. I have no health concerns. But if you need to go to the doctor, I've gone to the doctor several times. I think I paid like maybe it was like 300 pesos a visit, which is roughly $16. And if I get a prescription, it might be 500 or 600 pesos. So, and then maybe another $30. So, I mean, to go to a doctor for $16, that's a hospital too. It's more of like an emergency clinic. And then to get pills or a prescription for like $20 or $30, it's just insane. I mean, to go back to my family doctor in Phoenix, I think it would be easily probably $150 to $200 for a visit, and then whatever. I mean, the medication might be $200, if not more. But it's very easy. I think the healthcare system is very easy to deal with out here. For me, but I have no physical issues whatsoever. I can't tell you if you've got huge, massive ailments and stuff what it's going to be like. But I think you're going to find the healthcare system probably 20 times better than it is not only in your own home country, but definitely the States. So, what's your daily life look for you if you live there full time? A pretty peaceful lifestyle, I'll tell you that. So let's see. I get up probably around 6:30 in the morning. Maybe sometimes 4:30. I go sit in my jacuzzi for 30 minutes and just soak and melt away. And just totally relax, go swim laps in my pool. And then I get up, I bought my own custom home gym. I've always wanted my custom home gym. I spent probably 60 days designing it with a gym designer. And I bought it from China, and I had it shipped here from China. It got shipped from China, and it probably took another 60 days to make, and then another 2 months to ship. I mean, the whole process was like almost a year. And then they shipped it to Long Beach, California. Then I had to have it delivered from Long Beach all the way to Mexico City. And then they took it from Mexico City to Cabo. So it was a long process, but it was well worth it. I love working out every day, and I have my own signature logo on the gym. I mean, I wanted one my entire life. And I finally got it, and I know Daniela appreciates it. We work out every day together. It's awesome. So, and then after that, I usually go into work and check out the construction project, see what the guys are doing, what material they need, what questions they need answered, because they always got questions. Hey, where do you want this? Where do you want this? What do you want with this? Or I'll tell them, hey, we need to get this done by this certain amount of date, or we're always filming something. I'm filming something at the project for our YouTube page. And I really developed this channel because I wanted to help others not only live in Cabo and move to Cabo and transition to another country, because it can be very challenging. But to build in Cabo, because there's no other channel out here like this about building and living in Cabo San Lucas. Because if you want to build in Cabo, or if you want to remodel in Cabo, or you just want to buy an existing home in Cabo, I can help you out. I'm a realtor, and I'm also a builder. I'm a real estate developer, and I just like to help people any way that I can. I think it's, it's in this lifetime, it's my chance to give back to the community any way that I can. Salvador asks, what are the labor costs in Mexico compared to the United States? Well, they're cheaper. They're cheaper than the States, but the labor cost here, it's kind of a wash to me as a contractor. But I'll tell you why, because let's say I'm building a home, and the home in the States might take 4 months to build, but here it takes 12 months. So I'm gonna, the weekly labor costs are gonna be cheaper, but the overall expenses are about the same. And it's gonna be a little bit cheaper in Mexico than it is in the States, and it's gonna take a little bit longer. The construction styles are completely different. Everything in Mexico is concrete block, and I've learned to love it. I think I don't think one is better than the other. I think I appreciate both of them for what they are. I definitely know you need concrete block out here for because we live in hurricane country. You don't want a home that is wood construction out here, otherwise it will blow away. And I also looked into construction costs in the States. It's rising, and it's going up even more now because of of all the deportation of immigrants. Did you know that I believe it's like 70% of the staff that is in construction is Hispanic from the United States? So I mean, they're losing all those guys. I mean, and they're getting deported from the States, which is just horrible. That you're completely transforming the country into a more negative lifestyle. And it's very hard for a lot of families that are dealing with that in the States, and construction costs are going to go up. Building costs are going to go up, and it's just going to be hard for a lot of people to get, not only contractors to get work done, but people to support their family, that are in construction. And it's just, I'm very blessed to live here. I absolutely love it. So I'm glad I don't have to deal with that stuff. And I think I dodged a bullet by moving out a couple of years early because, as I said, it's not for political reasons, but I can see how the country is getting it's very challenging to live with. I get friends that call me all the time, and they just they don't want to be there anymore. They're scared of living there anymore because of all the ICE raids, and it's just who wants to live in that? I can understand. It's just it's very challenging, and I hope something gets resolved because things got to change. People should not live in fear every day. It's not right. People should live in peace every day. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, Salvador. Um, does anyone have any questions about living in Cabo and anything about um, just about daily life in Cabo, or what maybe what they like to do? Have they ever been here on vacation? I know a lot of people that Cabo is like the dream place to come to on vacation, especially if you've lived in Mexico. Anyone that's from Mexico, have you been to Cabo? I think one of you guys said they were from Cabo. And let's see, let me get back to this. Let's see. Oh, what do you do when there's a power outage or a storm in Cabo? Well, our storm season is usually July, August, September, but typically August and September. During a storm, I haven't experienced too many crazy storms yet. Oh, we did have one crazy storm a year ago. Yeah, we were actually building the house. We were remodeling the house I'm currently living right now, and we were living downstairs because we remodeled. It's a single story home, but it has a basement with its own private kitchen and its own private bathroom and its own private bedroom. And so the upstairs we completely remodeled the downstairs. We put in our own kitchen. So we lived down there while the upstairs was getting remodeled. And we had a pretty bad hurricane come in town, and we had water fill up the garage because the pump was not working, or the electricity was not working. It wasn't for some reason plugged in, and it filled up the garage with water. I had to go run a vacuum, and luckily a couple of guys from the neighborhood helped me get rid of it. Get rid of all the water. Daniela helped me. We were mopping all night. It was crazy, but that was pretty intense. Power outage, I haven't experienced. I think we've only had like probably four or five in 3 years. It hasn't been too extreme, and we probably get a lot of brownouts probably I would think the most in Mexico just because of the heat here, but probably only 4 or 5 in 3 years. The times that it happened, I just go swimming in the backyard, or I'll go to Costco because they have a huge generator. Um, I don't have a generator at the house, but Costco's got a huge generator, so they got electricity all the time. And I'll go to San Jose, which is a 25 minute ride in the car, or we can go to La Paz, which is about a 2 hour drive away, or just go to the beach, and you can find something to do. But I'm not going to sit in the hot house during the summer. I'll find something to do. I'll go hiking. I usually go hiking usually 5, 6 days a week, anyways. Or I'll find something to do to keep my mind busy, or I'll go to work. You know, let's see. Have I ever been to Mexico City before, in any other states in Mexico besides BCS? Yes. I've been to 9 cities in Mexico. I've been to Puerto Vallarta. I've been to Cancun. I've been to, Mexico City. I've been to Mazatlan, Manzanillo, Estapa, Acapulco, Tijuana. But I think Mexico City is bar none my favorite, next to Cabo. Mexico City is bar none my favorite. If I was going to buy a second home, it would be Mexico City. I was thinking about getting a second home. They're just a little condo to get away, because it is so different than Cabo. It's like completely opposite. I love it. It's such a gorgeous city. We stayed in, I forgot the name of we set the Hilton Reforma in Polanco. That's where it was, the Hilton Reforma in Polanco. We actually went to a Colombia last summer, Daniela and I, and I always wanted to go to Colombia, and I never had a chance to. And that was one of the places that I was looking into. I didn't get a chance to go visit there, to go check it out. I just found the humidity on, just all the research, I just probably couldn't deal with it, and all the government interference in your life, coupled with the cartel stuff. I didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. So I kind of ruled out Colombia right away. And so our big trip was to go to Colombia. And Daniela had always wanted to go to Colombia. So me and her, we set our trip up. And no matter where you fly in Mexico, you have to go through Mexico City. That's just how it is. You have to fly to Mexico City. You don't have a choice, So if you're flying anywhere pretty much in Mexico, you have to go directly to Mexico City, then go to your final destination. So I said, why don't we just spend, a good 5-6 days in Mexico City while we're there? And I absolutely loved it. It was so beautiful, such a beautiful city. It's so green everywhere. I felt it was so clean, and it's such a walkable city. I think Daniela and I, one day, we walked 40,000 steps. And her legs were wanting to fall off that day, and it was beautiful. We went down to Chapultepec Park, the zoo. They have one of the most amazing zoos I've ever been to, and it was absolutely free. And in downtown Mexico City, it's a beautiful city. I want to go back. I really want to get a second place, or at least possibly get out of town. I'm in the middle of a project right now, so I can't leave right now. But now would be the perfect time, because Mexico City, the weather is perfect. I think it's like 52 to 75, like 12 months a year, but it's a gorgeous city. So it is an awesome city. But I think the other cities that I want to probably go to, I want to go to Oaxaca, definitely. I want to go to Mexico City, go rent a car and drive it to Oaxaca, and then Puerto Escondido. Danielle has never been to that city either. So Oaxaca, that's a city known for food, and we're both foodies. And also Puerto Escondido, and I think Isla Morelos. And neither of us have been to Playa del Carmen. I've heard a lot of good things about Playa del Carmen, so I want to go experience that. What stage right now? What stage are you in the build right now? Well, if you check our last construction video, I believe we produced it probably 2 months from now. we're actually building we're building our own building our home on the Pacific side, which is about 10-15 minutes outside of Cabo. And we're building a casita first for us to live in, which will be later available on Airbnb or vacation rental. And it's our last video, if you check it out, it was filmed 9 days ago, and it's how to build a home in Mexico. Dream it, believe it, build it. It's on our YouTube page. But the stage right now, we're building the casita. It's about 110 square meters, 1,200 square feet. It's got a full kitchen, a bedroom, and a bathroom, and a huge shower that's 10 foot by 6 foot. And we're right now just getting ready to do the concrete floors. We finished the roof a couple of weeks ago. We did all the plaster on the inside. We did the drywall on the ceiling. We framed out the ceiling. We did the drywall, and we got a gigantic 22-foot slider overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous little casita that we're going to have, couples or friends or, people that want to rent a vacation home for a week or a month and just stay in Cabo to live the Cabo lifestyle. And, it's perfect. I can be at the job site because I'm about, 20 minutes away with traffic to get out there every day. And I'd rather be at the job site because the guys are always asking me questions. And it's much easier to be there to answer questions versus just having to text everything. Construction can be very complicated, and it's best to deal in person versus, over the phone on a text. So have you ever, you normally, are you in construction or you normally build, or please let me know. Have you guys ever built a home before? What did you like about it? What did you hate? What challenges did you have to overcome? Please let me know. I'd love to hear your response back. Who's thinking about building a home? Who wants to build a home, and what city are you thinking about building a home? What are your fears about building a home? What obstacles do you need to overcome? Are you looking for land? Do you own any land? Yes, someone asked me, do you think Cabo's a good place for family? I think it's an excellent place for family. I think it's a very peaceful city. It's probably the most peaceful city I've ever been to. And it's truly, as I said, it's truly a special place. How reliable is the internet? Is it good enough for remote work? Yeah, it's definitely good enough for remote work. If you live downtown or by the Telso building, you have no problem getting 5G. Yeah, we have really good internet. I have no problem. I think it's like 350 speed. I don't think I have the highest speed, but I have no problems. I think it's a 350 speed rating or something like that. But I have no problems with the internet. Very, very few problems. There's certain patchworks in town, but hopefully it's getting better. They're always trying to improve and stuff. But in Cabo, I would say it's probably, I don't think the city gets enough love that it should, because to my perspective, I think it's the #1 tourist town in all of Mexico. A lot of people would argue with Cancun, but you have more of a Cancun is more for the younger generation of 20 or 30-year-olds, and Cabo is more 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds. But it's more a luxurious lifestyle. It's for more adult community. But I love it here. I can't really complain about anything. The roads are the biggest obstacle for me. Just I don't understand why we don't have the best roads, because we get millions, if not billions of dollars brought in from tourism. All these cruise ships that come at the dock every day, they pay a lot of money to Mexico to come here, and all that money should be used to improve the town, and we should have the best streets, we should have the best sidewalks, we should have the cleanest drinking water. It's something, the Mexico needs to do improvements on. People need to be held accountable, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't go right, not only in this country but in other countries, and just people need to be held accountable. And because I really think it's, you know, it's an amazing place, and you know, I think the city deserves only the best stuff. So let me see what other questions someone else had. Uh, um, oh, did the permit process take long to get on my construction build? For my remodel, I had to get a permit, and for my new build, I had to get a permit. So one thing out here, they require you to use an architect for everything. Phoenix is more more liberal in terms of using an architect. It's not required on remodels. Here, you have to. For a remodel, we had to use an architect. And I hired an architect. It usually, I think it took like 3 or 4 months, probably 4 or 5 months for the permit to get approved. It's longer than I expected because the permits that I'm used to typically take about 24 hours, maybe a couple hours. So Arizona is pretty lax compared to Mexico. But I've heard California has been a nightmare for getting permits. But it took about 4 to 6 months to get the remodel permit, and then almost a year to get the build permit. But the advantage on the build permit, my contractor, my architect, was going through a lot of personal issues, so he wasn't always there. But he did give the he's been working with the city for over 30 years as an architect, so he did give me the green light to go ahead and build while he got the permit. So really, it didn't hold us up that much. But we just got the permit, you know, a couple of weeks ago, but I've been building since January, so that gives you an idea what kind of leeway you have. But you need to do your due diligence, have all your paperwork done, because the last thing you want to do is get in any trouble with government officials or anything like that, because it can be a nightmare. So it's best to just play your cards straight. So let me see. I love to hear your guys' feedback. Ask me a question if you guys have any questions about grocery costs, anything, you know, about living in Cabo, building in Cabo. Have they ever built a home before in their experience? Let's see, I'll get another question if you guys, I'm looking at the questions right now. Let's see. Yeah, the seafood here is pretty awesome. A lot of the food and restaurants are pretty awesome. And there's usually never a dull moment. So let's see what's there. Let's see. Just bear with me a sec. I'm just looking through these questions. I want to make sure I went through all of them. Oh, how are the beaches in Cabo? Oh, I think Cabo has probably some of the most amazing beaches, not only in Mexico, but the world. I think they're beautiful. They get maintained a lot, and they're very clean. I see guys out there cleaning them all the time. I think they're some of the best beaches in the world. And the thing about it is we live on the Pacific side. We get no seaweed whatsoever. If you go to the East Coast in Mexico, like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, you're going to get seaweed all the time. and it is very humid out there compared to Cabo. Cabo has much lower humidity, like 20% lower than Cancun or Playa del Carmen. And the beaches here are absolutely gorgeous. I would rate them a 10 easily. And they're beautiful white sand beaches, and it's just beautiful. And the water is gorgeous. The water is absolutely gorgeous. I'm planning to move to a coastal city soon. I'm not sure which one yet. Do you have any other cities that you had in mind besides Cabo? And my best recommendation, come out here for, a couple of weeks on vacation and see which one you love. Pick your, go to both cities, see which one you like, see which one, get the lay of the land, get the feel of the people, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, all your pros and cons. YouTube is a great tool to utilize what you want from other people's experience. YouTube is an awesome tool. I love YouTube. So it's a great tool. And then get your feet wet. Go to that city, spend some time there, and interview other people, interview locals, interview tourists who've been there before, what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. Because just because I like something doesn't mean you're going to like it. You like something doesn't mean I'm going to like it. Let's see. Let's see. Have you looked into installing solar panels? Do you think it's worth it? Yeah, I did look into installing solar panels. When I originally got here, the property I was building on the Pacific side, I knew I probably wanted to do solar panels. And I got cost anywhere from, I think it was like, originally I got costs anywhere from like 60,000 up to 80,000. I got one cost. This last bid I got was like 42,000, and I'm gonna have to see if it's worth it, because the home where we're living right now, I absolutely love it. But I think it depends on, because we might be buying after this home sells. I've got a home for sale. It's called Villa Utopia that I remodeled. I spent the last 13 months remodeling it. It's on our playlist in Fearless in Cabo if you want to check it out. If you're looking to buy a home in Cabo, it's an ultra luxurious property. It's 4,400 square feet. It's got 2 kitchens. It's got a 7-unit downstairs with its own private kitchen, private bedroom, private bathroom. It's great for, if you want a tenant or additional family to stay down. I mean, it's a luxurious home, and it's got a huge 50-foot lap pool. And we're selling it right now because we want to live on the Pacific side, which is about 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away from where I'm at right now. But this house is actually better located, because it's half a mile from Fresco, the gourmet grocery store. A couple blocks away from Fresco, a couple blocks away from Home Depot, and a half a mile from Costco. Yeah, that's one of the wonderful things about in Cabo. You have a Costco, half a mile away, and you got Walmart a couple miles away. So you pretty much, if you're from the States, you're going to feel almost at home. If you're, it's pretty busy, Costco and Walmart all the time. But it's definitely solar panels. I gotta think about it more, because I gotta get that 5-year break even point. So if I can pay it off and hit zero within 5 years, 60 months, I think it'll be worth it. So even if I calculate, at $500 a month, times 60 months, that's around 30,000. So if I can get it around 35,000, I think it'll be definitely worth it. But I'd love to live completely on my own, not needing any water, not needing any electricity. That would be awesome, to be completely self-sustaining and not need anyone. That would be awesome to just live, because water can be challenging out here, electricity can be challenging out here, because it's both of it's expensive compared to other cities in Mexico and even in the United States. Do you think it's better to buy land and build, or just be ready house? that's kind of a loaded question, but I'll tell you what, if I love to build and buy, and I love to remodel. So either one, if you love challenges and you strive for challenges, I think it's probably better to to build. You know, if you're very patient and have a lot of self discipline, and you know, not a massive control freak, it might be better to build. To buy, you can find there's a lot of gorgeous properties here to build, and maybe just do a small remodel if you don't like everything about the house. And if you're building a house or you're remodeling a house, you're usually going to find, you know, probably five to 10 things wrong with it at least that you're going to want to change. Buying land, I don't think is an issue. I think land is readily available. I think Cabo is expanding on the north side, or excuse me, on the Pacific side. That's why we moved over there, because I really think that's where it's going to explode within the next 5 to 10 years, 5 to 7 years is the Pacific side. I think that's where it's at. I love it over there because it's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler. It's less humid over there because you got the Pacific breezes all day, and I just love the Pacific side. It's just not a lot of people can handle it because the water is not swimmable. The beaches aren't swimmable like they are on the Sea of Cortez side. But I think it's you know, if you plan to live here long term and you know exactly what you want, go ahead and build. You know, but um, if if you don't want to deal with a lot of stress in your life, just buy something. You know, I would say 90% of the people are going to buy something. It's just much easier, and you can always remodel if you're not up for building and stuff. If you don't love everything about the home, but there's a lot of homes available for sale. I think there's like, the last time I checked, there was probably 1,300 homes available for sale inside of Cabo San Lucas and San Jose. So there's a pretty good amount of healthy inventory available in Cabo. But I'd say probably the stuff on MLS is probably, I would say probably 60% of the stuff is new construction. So there's a lot of new construction available for sale as well. So is it easy to move around Cabo? Traffic has changed a lot. It's not what it used to be. I don't find any problem getting anywhere in Cabo. I think anywhere in Cabo can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Really, you know, it depends certain time of the day, but no, I don't have any problem. I know people complain about the traffic. I don't have any issues. Go to LA for a week and go tell me about the traffic, because the traffic here really is nothing. You know, if you try to stay off the streets between 2 and 4, you're going to have 2 and 5. There's going to be no traffic. But just I don't really have any problem with traffic, so I've never complained about the traffic. The roads are the issue, not really the traffic, because the government doesn't want to build 4 or 5 lane roads, which it needs. They build 2 lane roads with potholes. You know, they need to be replaced. They need to be repaired. They need to be replaced. You need to have a 4 or 5 lane highway. Cabo deserves it. You know, between there's almost 300,000 people plus in Cabo and San Jose. We need 4 or 5 lane highways on each side. So, but no, I don't have any problems with traffic. I know some people do have a problem with traffic. That's not an issue for me. So, and I'm in a very popular area, so there's a lot of traffic. Usually, work around this house because I got always people finding the Home Depot, always people finding the Fresco, Costco. That is crazy. That place is, if you get there anytime after 11, oh my God, it's like a circus there. Usually I get there at 10 o'clock, or I'll swing in there at like 6 o'clock at night. It's like the perfect time to stop into Costco, because you get there at 11 or 12, especially on a weekend. Oh my God, every car in the parking lot, every car in the parking lot, every car from Baja California Sur is there. So it's pretty crazy there. But do you guys have any more questions? Probably gonna get ready to wrap it up. If you guys have any last questions, go ahead and send it. But I'd love to answer any of your questions. But I really appreciate your time. I think this was an awesome first live chat. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. If you guys have any other questions after it, or you think about it today or tomorrow, hit me up on, you can send it on one of the videos. I always monitor all the questions. You can email me. I'd be happy to answer anything you had about questions about living in Cabo, building in Cabo, building in Mexico, the lifestyle here, cost of living, anything. I'd love to help you guys any way that I can. But thanks so much. I really appreciate it. You guys have an awesome day.